Hello everyone, Phoenix61 here with September 24 update, right? So Michelangelo is the campaign ship. I am jumping right into things just because, well, I want to cover a lot of things today, right? So, upgrades for it. This is the tier 8 cruiser that you would get from the campaign. Everything's kind of what you would expect. Couple of choices here for consumables, and then you do get, of course, rolling smoke and a enhanced targeting thingy-mabobber, right? I think the unique thing here is going to be the secondaries have a base range of 6.5 kilometers. And then I'll show you the other thing too with this is the turrets themselves. The main battery ones are kind of positioned awkwardly. We'll take a peek at that as well. Torpedoes are 8 kilometer, pretty quick at 72 knots. Nothing crazy though. Right, and then if you're interested in any of these other stats, pause it quick, because I'm going to fly through stuff here today. Armor is kind of interesting, right? So everyone's always interested in the Citadel. This one does stick out above the waterline quite a bit, so that could be problematic, right? And then overview, here's what you've got. So what I'd like to call out is the main battery turrets are these two 4 shooters in the middle here. So firing angles are going to be tough on this, right? So you're going to want to really build into that rolling smoke probably, I guess. I'm not sure. I'm kind of interested in this. I like weird ships, so I may get this. I may do Admiralty backing when the time comes, right? We'll take a quick peek at rewards. One thing I was kind of disappointed in here is there's not an Azure Lane crate, so we'll dive into that a little bit more. But you know, it was nice the last couple of collaborations like Blue Archive and Star Trek. They gave you at least one of those crates for free through the campaign, so that is not the case this time around. And then I'm going to jump into the update page just because there's a couple of changes. One in particular for flooding that I want to highlight too, but there's a code here for the update too that gets you like a big fall crate or something, so make sure you punch this code in. It's listed here again, S72T82U4GA, right? Get you some battle boosters and whatnot, right? We already talked about the campaign ship and some of the rewards, but if you're interested here, of course, click the pause button. And then, yes, there's a new pan-European line of destroyers, and these are going to be in early access. So that's what some of the crates are for. Early access from September 9th through October 14th. So keep that in mind. Early access means you can get them for free from like these crates, but then once they're out of early access, you just buy them like normal with silver. So don't, I recommend not spending money on more crates, right? Okay? Because you can eventually get them for silver here. And then there is this collections event that's going on, but keep in mind the reward at the end of that is a tier 2 premium destroyer. So nothing crazy there. I did take a peek at it. It did look like it had 8 kilometer range torpedoes, which is kind of interesting for tier 2, right? But and then yes, there's this autumn festival thing that starts September 16th. I mean, I don't see anything like crazy in here that I have to have, like you can read this, right? But it looks like there's some, Pan-Asian tier 6 destroyer you can get, like I'm not too excited about this. We'll see when the time comes, right? Like I'm sure like I'll play the missions and whatever if I'm on, right? And then yeah. And then some brawl and ranked battle seasons that'll, be in and out here. Nothing, crazy. I really liked the 1v1 ranked. I don't know if I'll play the what is it? It was going to be 5 on 5 or something for ranked. There is Halloween event coming up, so that's always fun. This prepare for Halloween special thing looks like it starts October 7th, I guess. So we'll keep an eye out for that. This is the one I wanted to call out here. This is kind of the only reason I really came to this page. Changes to flooding mechanics. So basically, it looks like larger ships, particularly battleships, will have 2 flooding zones, and they're going to sort of decrease. Looks like probably duration of flooding effects and how much damage it does. So, have your opinions there. But then if you're a battleship, it looks like 2 flooding instances will cause more damage than what it had done before. Yeah, so for destroyers, cruisers, aircraft carriers, one flooding instance will generally cause less damage than before. For battleships, one flooding instance will deal less damage, while two flooding instances will cause more damage per second than before, though the duration of the flooding will be reduced by more than half. So, yeah, just, it is what it is, right? It's a change. I think they're dialing down the flooding damage, like, in general, but, yeah. Yeah, if you have two flooding instances at the same time, you'll see two corresponding flood icons, right? So it's fine. And then there were some nerfs and buffs that happened to. You could check out the details too. I think the big one was Colombo. That one got nerfed. Like all of these, like the nerfs and buffs, all had to do with like either a little bit faster reload, a little bit less armor, a little bit more armor. You know, like it was like a tiny bit to like everything on each ship, right? So, or a little more damage, you know, so nothing like crazy, but yeah. This was interesting too, changes to Commander Geises. I think, I took a peek in the game this morning and like I could see where you could equip a Commander Geist to like pretty much anybody now. And then you could like show or hide it, right? But I think the key here is these changes might not seem impactful now, but they're paving the way for even bigger improvements in the future. I'm going to guess that you're going to be able to equip a Commander Geist and then choose which aspects of that Commander Geist you can like have on or off, like their voice or the shell tracers or, you know, like whatever. You could pick one, all, or multiple, right? That would be my preference, right? Okay, back to the store. So, Old World Treasures, these are similar to the, like, bundles, except they're not random, right, from previous, you know, stuff, right? But I just don't think this is worth it. Like, this is a lot to pay for. These are the early access crates, right, for the European destroyers. And then you'd get the Friesland at the end. That's kind of a lot of doubloons to pay for Friesland. I thought that was a global XP ship, so at least I think that's how I got the Friesland. So check the store for ships for, you know, like if that's what you're interested in, buy it for global XP if that's an option for you. And then this is interesting. Azure Lane creates Ultimate 2. Okay, so what these are is these include items from all previous Azure Lane waves, right? 5 years worth of Azure Lane stuff is in here. So, yeah. Let's take a look at crates for this time around here. So here's the European destroyer crates, right? These are they're just early access crates, right? So all of these, you know, the highlighted ones in here are the ships that you can get for early access, but those are regular tech tree ships, right? So those aren't premiums or anything like that. So just keep that in mind. So I do not recommend spending doubloons on these crates, like, because you'll eventually be able to buy those ships for silver once they come out of early access. So I think it's kind of silly to do that, right? So same with the smaller version of it, right? It's just a less % chance to get it. And then the collections crate. Like I said, I don't know if you could buy these for more doubloons if you wanted to or not, but I would not recommend that, right? You just get those collection cards, and then if you collect them all, you get that tier 2 destroyer, right? So nothing crazy there. It's, you know, if you get it, you get it. If you don't, I wouldn't care, right? And then here's the ultimate crates, right? So it's 10% chance to get an Azure Lane commander, right? And it's literally from all 5 waves, right? So, and then skins for ships from all 5 waves, and then their premium ships from all 5 waves. Looks like a 6% chance here too, right? So have your thoughts and feelings on that. I am probably not going to buy crates because like I don't have a lot of the Azure Lane stuff. So like, you know, I could argue, hey, I should buy some crates to see what I get. But there are a lot of commanders that I would definitely pass on that I just am not, like, I don't have to have them, right? And then a lot of times with the ships, their stats are only like slightly better in something, right? So I'm like, and the ships are what's really expensive. Like those hit you hard if you want to buy a ship as far as doubloons. So I'm gonna avoid the crates. And I may pick like 1 or 2 commanders that I like missed that I wish I had. You know, like we'll see, right? This is nothing crazy. It does have a guaranteed like reward system, right? So if you already have a commander and you're you're gonna get a commander, it'll make sure it always gives you one you don't have. So like that's all kind of nice. Same with like ships and stuff like that. Yeah, so like that's fine, but that's a little. I'll probably avoid the crates. That's why I was kind of like, I wish they at least gave you one, fresh, one out of the campaign or something, right? Don't forget to grab your daily free crate. And then, yeah, we'll look at these. There are some, you can get some free-ish crates in here for at least for the destroyer, right? The European destroyer ones. So go in and buy these if you've got the resources, just so you get the crates right. It'll let you do 3 of them for silver, and it'll let you do another 3 for global XP. So I just went in and bought those, right? So, but yeah, the European destroyer crates. So we'll have potential to get them for early access. It is nice when you get them in early access, because then you don't have to pay the silver for it, right? You got it free out of the crate and you didn't have to buy it for silver. But don't stress if you don't get early access ships, because they're coming for free-ish right later when you after the update here, right? With the next update, you'll be able to buy them as a regular tech tree ship, right? So Eagles Union Power, this is kind of a decent deal, $15, where you would get Baltimore and the commander as well. I think that's probably, you'd probably come out on top there, right, as opposed to buying those 2 things with doubloons. But here's all the bundles here, right? So 5, I did the math, guys. It's 226,000 doubloons. You'd have to buy the $150 doubloon package 5 times, basically $750. So yeah. But yeah, here's the ships. I'm just gonna scroll through these, right? Like I said, like these are the ships, in my opinion, they're a little hefty on the price tag when it comes to doubloon. So unless you really gotta have one, I particularly avoid these unless I get them from crates, unless I get the lucky drop, because that's kind of a lot. The skins are really cool as well. Like all of them look really cool. Like I love how all these ships look. But like I said, it's just this is a big one, right? Russia, right? 25,000 doubloons for that guy. But I mean, it's a good ship. And then the skins are all cool as well. Like I really like all these skins. But like I said, like it's a skin, right? That changes nothing other than the look of the ship. And also, you keep in mind you have to have that ship, right? So if you don't have that ship unlocked, and you buy one of these skins, you can't use it. Just heads up, right? Okay. Now, this is the long haul. There are 26 commanders across the 5 waves. I'm going to very, very briefly touch on each one. So here are my opinions. This Azure Lane, New Jersey was literally the first paid commander I ever got, because I really love this for my sort of long-range American battleship sniping builds. So based on my own playstyle, this is what I would pick if I didn't have this, right? So you get this more damage with Citadel strikes, better dispersion, and then the base trait is, of course, shells that travel over 10 kilometers deal more damage as well. So this is, I love this commander. I have it on my Georgia, right? So if you just recently got Georgia from the last event, you could do that, right? I did get Azure Lane Bismarck. This was from a more recent Azure Lane wave. She's also good if you're putting her on like a cruiser. So that's actually what I did. So if you have like one of those German cruisers that has good base secondary range, she works kind of well for that. But there are a lot of battleship brawling German commanders out there as it is, including free ones, and from like pretty much every collaboration that's in existence. But yeah, I put Gowron on here because I'm using her on a cruiser right now. I think a gear or something I have on there, right? So, yeah, a lot of these other ones I'm probably gonna pass on, right? So this is a Italian battleship commander. She's got this, reduced flood damage. Have your opinion there. Nelson looks pretty good because you get this. Up to 6% reduced damage to your battleship for the base trait, so you could put that other places, as inspirations. And then she's got this increase 16%, up to 16% AP shell damage and HE shell damage, right? So That'd be, that's a decent choice too. I don't think I probably won't get it, it's just it's a tough call here. Right, Japanese cruiser commander, speed and incoming fire dispersion for the base trait here. Her unique one is this special gunnery training, which is kind of this more AP pen multiplier kind of thing. But, you get, with most of my Japanese cruisers, I'm doing fire builds. And if you did use AP, you could pick that punch through option, right? And then this one, she is a carrier, Japanese carrier commander, right? And sometimes I'm just kind of like, I don't feel like I play carriers enough. But then, there's nothing really special about her perks in here that really, at least nothing that stood out to me. So I'll definitely pass on her. Next is, I'm not going to even try and say half these guys' names, but this is a Japanese destroyer commander, right? So I think this is the one where they're going with this. You get the AA damage base trait, so, maybe you could put that, use that as an inspiration elsewhere, but it looks like they're going for, this is sort of a gunboat build, right? So maybe your Kitakaze tech tree, but honestly, there's free to play commanders out there that I think are just as good, right? This isn't that much better. You get this Evil Sparks legendary perk, but I'm pretty sure that one of the free commanders has that as well. And I kind of still want my unstoppable anyway when I'm playing as a destroyer, so that's a tough sell for me on that one, but people say it wrecks really good, right? So you do you. Aurora, I got her from a crate, and as you can see, I'm not using her, so she's at level 7, right? But yes, a Russian, Soviet cruiser commander with this, hammering strikes perk that I don't think I'd probably still pick punch through anyway, right? So, which is a normal commander perk to start with, right? So I would say no to her, even if, if I didn't have her, right? Montpellier, right? So this one's interesting too. You get this AA guns firing range up to 10%, and that's a base trait. So you could put that on an inspiration for other commanders if you've got an AA build as a cruiser, right? So that would be as a little tempting there, but other than that, you get some of the typical stuff. You get beyond range, you get, punch through. All-out assault is kind of the unique one, this incoming fire dispersion and better shell grouping, but then you get an increase in incoming damage, which I disagree, dislike, right? Fusao, if that's how you say it. Chances of battleship HE guns causing fire. This one's kind of interesting if I might use that base trait on some of my British battleship commanders, maybe, right? Because we like the fires there. But whether it's worth the 5,000 doubloons or not, you can decide on that one. I don't know that I would actually use this commander on my Japanese battleships, right? I got them mostly done in with AP range and accuracy and damage builds, right? So this Belfast one, I have mixed feelings here. Your ship detectability range after firing main battery guns inside a smoke screen. That would be, that goes up to 20%, so that's a good percent. So that would may be more valuable as an inspiration other places. This smoke screen thing here, right, this takes away, these are great, it compiles on top of the base trait, right? But your smoke generator charges, you lose a charge there. And then you also don't get fully packed as a legendary option down here. So I think you'd probably only have one smoke screen anyway. It's kind of what do you start with? 2, maybe 3. I'm almost always using fully packed, so I always feel like I have plenty, and then I think that would reduce you down to 1 or 2, right? So yeah. Hood, it's another British battleship commander here. Like I said, nothing crazy unique here. I think this is the unique perk, right? Damage control, party cooldown, and battleship speed. You'd get fight. You don't get a will to rebuild option here, so keep that in mind. Chapayev, which is pretty hot, right? Increased chances of incapacitating an enemy ship's module. That's kind of interesting, and there's a high percentage there. And then you would get beyond range. Could do more radar stuff there. Yeah, and then HE shell damage, but then chances of HE shells causing fire once you get an upgrade almost goes down to like 0, right? No, minus 90% chance. Like that's a lot. I don't know if that's worth 15% more base damage. Maybe. I don't know. I don't have something in mind how I would build that out, but yeah. Deal extra damage. So Neptune, this is a cruiser, British cruiser commander, right? I do like that you get beyond range and piercer options there. You could go torpedo range there, punch through there, right? And then this is kind of the unique one for her, I believe. Damage against cruisers and damage against destroyers increased, but decreased damage against battleships. So yeah, I'm not crazy excited about her. I'll be fine without her. That's fine. St. Louis, this one's pretty decent. So if you don't have a French, you gotta like French cruiser play. Keep that in mind, right? I kind of been on the struggle bus with French cruisers, but cooldown time for consumables and main battery reload time for the base trait. So that's something that could be valuable other places as an inspiration as well. You do get beyond range as a choice here. I like that. Increased chance for fire, some defensive perks, and then here, enhance main battery reload booster duration up to 15% longer, plus you get an extra charge as well. So this would probably work well with both the French cruiser lines, right? Both of them out there you could do if you didn't pick up the Blue Archive one from the previous collaboration here, or previous campaign or event, whatever you want to call it, right? Rune. So, German cruiser commander. I don't think this is anything special for the base trait. Rudder shift and gun traverse speed. Like, it's always nice to have more of those, but I'm not crazy excited about it, so I'll probably skip this one too. Easy choice there. Your ship receives less damage while sonar is active. I think that's her unique perk. 10%'s pretty huge, and then you could compile it with the commander perk that gives you the longer sonar and extra charges, right? So I'd definitely choose that. But Admiral Hipper, like same kind of thing, nothing like crazy. Reduced fire damage for the base trait, and then this sort of defensive one for her unique one as well. You don't get fully packed as an option for legendary. Dunkirk is a French battleship commander, right? So reduced flooding damage here. 20%'s huge. Like, that's a good, up to 20% if you get her maxed out. But keep in mind, it's resource intensive to max out a commander. Going in and buying a bunch of these guys, it's gonna be a while before you can actually get the full benefits from these. Yeah, shell type switching time if all main battery. Like, I just don't care. Like, I don't care too much about those types of perks. They do have this one, this Megalomania, right, which is better reload time and better detectability time after firing main guns. Those are, people kind of love those, I guess. Schornhurst, this is pretty good, but like I said, like, there's a lot of brawling German battleship commanders out there. So, the better main battery dispersion's nice, because, it's, German main guns is always a struggle bus to start with. You would get Porcupine as an option here, but I think the unique one is that torpedo centric one here. Yeah, this torpedo launch, because some of the German battleships have the torpedo, so you get more speed and more range, up to 12% more range, but I don't feel like that's worth it, right? So I'd pass on Schornhurst. Like, maybe if you were interested in that base trait, 4% better main battery dispersion, right? Because you can always put that other places. You could always put that as inspiration somewhere else on other commanders from other countries, whatever, what have you, right? So, Admiral Graf Spee. I always say that wrong too, right? Amount of HP recovered from your healing party thingy mabob, right? Then her unique one, cruiser detectability and air detectability range. I'll pass there. That's not that great, right? Queen Elizabeth, this one's a maybe, right? So this base trait's kind of nice. Better reload time, better AP damage, and better shell grouping. The problem there is a lot of times on my British ships I'm using HE, because they got pretty good HE. But she does have a unique perk that is, what is it? It's this one here. Yeah, Skywatch, Observation Seaplane Duration, 30% longer, plus you could get up to 2 more charges. But I think Queen Elizabeth has the observation, the spotter plane as an option. I think King George has it. I think Vanguard, you get a reload booster instead. You don't have an option for the plane. And then the next one, the tier 8, I think maybe has the plane as well. So just, it's not on every one, right? Like whether that's worth it or not, that's kind of, questionable to me, right? I'm not sure what we'll do, right? But yeah, it does have the classic secondary perks if you want to do a secondary build, although I'm not really doing that with pretty much 0 of my British battleships, right? Azure Lane, Baltimore, right? You could get this one from that package that I showed for $14 where you get the ship as well. You do have Beyond Range as an option. Her unique one here is this AP pen multiplier and the cruiser AP shell fuse time, up to minus 40%. So, it says longer time leads to lower chances of Citadel hit. So I think the idea is it's trying to tell you you'd have a better chance to hit a Citadel. I don't know if this is, I don't know. I think I'm comfortable with still having punch through. Guys, you got tell me your opinions if this is worth it, because I don't I would probably just use punch through still, right? Like Baltimore's got some good AP shells to start with, right? Like how big of a difference is that going to make? In my mind, it's kind of minor, and punch through is your typical, that you get from free to play commanders. So. You do get options for fully packed or refill station, which I like. Zara, so she was from Azure Lane Wave 5, and this is a maybe on my list as well, because her base trait is this cruiser main battery gun SAP shell damage, right? So you could put this on the campaign ship, for this update. You do get Beyond Range, and then this one too, damage from cruiser main battery guns while firing them within 5 seconds after a reload. That's kind of nice too. So yeah, I mean, the thing is with the campaign ship, you might want to do a secondary battery build, in which case you'd probably have to use a battleship commander, right? So just keep that in mind. I do like that you get fully packed as an option, but I don't know, she's kind of a maybe on my list. We'll see. I don't really have the cruiser commander that I'm in love with on the Italian side. Rosia, this would obviously pair well with the corresponding Rosia ship, right? You get some options in here for either more damage control or more repair party control. But her unique one is this battle cry, which is pretty good. I would definitely, I would be using this if I had this commander, but I don't play the Soviet ships that much. But basically more damage with Citadel strikes and better ricochet angles. So yeah, you're going to get more penetrations with AP shells and with that. This would probably be good for what? The from the last update, Borodino, right? If you were a Wallet Warrior there and spent the doubloons to get that one, this would probably be a good commander to put on that. Give me your opinions below in the comments, guys, please. Cheshire, cruiser main battery reload and incoming damage to citadels are decent. But I don't think nothing's too exciting for me here that I would want this. I think I could, I wouldn't, it's good, but I'll probably personally pass. There's her unique trait. Colorado, so if you like doing American battleship builds with reload speed built in, this is definitely the way to go, because you're getting better reload time on the base trait. And then this one here, this courageous shelling, main battery reload after your first shot of the battle and every following third shot. Once you get upgraded, that's a minus 25% better reload. So that'll compound pretty quick once you get sort of into the second half and end of the battle. You'd have some pretty nasty reload speed there. But I like, I love me some Azure Lane, New Jersey. I'm gonna stick with it, right? I like the big hits there that I get from her. that is our update video for September 24, guys. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in. Thank you everybody who is following. If you're not following the channel, make sure you do subscribe. We do World of Warships videos almost every day here on my channel. So yeah, click my face that shows up down in the bottom right, and yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow.